Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Just Daf It. Today we're doing Nedarim Daf Chavav number 26. I'm shocked already how we're already up to Daf Chavav Sechs Nedarim. I feel like I started last week. I guess maybe it's just very short Masechta or just a film flies. We're starting on the bottom Chav Ham Beis. I'm a Rabbah, about 6 lines from the bottom. I'm a Rabbah. The Chuli Alma Kol Heicha the Amar Ilo Yisi Yodea Sha'aba B'nechem Hayisi Omer Kulchem Asurim Chutz Ma'aba the Chulan Asurim. The Mishnah at the end, the last clause in the Mishnah states that a person finds a lot of people stealing his figs. His figs must be really good. I don't know people eating figs. Usually figs are infested with bugs. They don't taste too good either. I guess it's a country where all they got is figs, delicacy. They're eating his figs and he's very upset they stole his figs. So he answers them behind us, a little over on Isser. Because a lot of people, they don't care about stealing, but they care. It's very true. People don't care about stealing money from other people, but when it comes to Yisurim, right? The Hechsherim for kashrus, and so many Hechsherim for kashrus. When it comes to taking money from the government, taking money from other people, not the best, not the most muhadr way. Sometimes even bordering on stealing. Like some neighbors I have. No one's really careful about that. The kashrus they care about more. So Yasser than Bahana. So, but then he finds out that not only were other people he didn't know, stealing his figs, his father and his brother were stealing his figs. He didn't want to answer. He didn't want to make his father or his brother, even though he doesn't have a great relationship with his father or brother, he doesn't want to be Yasser Bahana for them. So he regrets. He says that I want my father and brother to be Yasser. If I knew my father and brother would be part of it, I wouldn't have asked in the Bahana. So the Mishnah says, Neder Shutar Miksoto, Elu Mutarim. The Mishnah concludes, not only is his father and brother mutar to benefit from the figs, but also the Neder doesn't take effect on the other people also, because once part of the Neder is gone, the whole Neder is gone. So Rabbah and Rava try to explain this Mishnah. Rabbah says, if when he comes to base and he wants to matter neder, the phrase that he uses, I would have said, right, they're all asur, all the other people, except for my father, right? The kulan asur and the aviv mutter. All of them are asur, and his father is mutter, right? Not like our Mishnah. Neder take effect on the rest of them, not his father. Lo nechleku. They only argue, Ella Omer Ilaisi Yodea, right? It's actually Machlos Tanoim. Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai says, Neder Shutar Miksoso. We don't say Hutar Kulo. Beis Hillel says you do. I would have specified. I said, John, Steve, Michael, they're Aser. My father is Mutter. In that case, that's Machlokas. Beis Hillel says Neder Shutar Miksoso Hutar Kulo. Beis Shammai doesn't agree to that. That's Rabba's opinion. Rava Amar, not Rabba, an Aleph at the end. A generation later, Rabba had a student in Abaye. I think Rabba also was a student of Rabba. He argued on maybe his Rebbe, part-time Rebbe. Amar d'chuli alma kolechad Amar ila isi yodea sh'aba v'nechem ha'isi omer ploni asurin va'aba mutter kulam mutarim. Everyone agrees. Even Shammai agrees, right? If I specified John, Michael, Stephen, not my father, right? They're all mutter. Lo nechleku. We say neder shutar miksaz hutar kul. Even Shammai agrees with that. Lo nechleku ela ba'omer elisi yodea sh'aba v'nechem ha'isi omer kulchem asurin chutz ma'aba. If he would have said, when he tries to matter as neder, he said, what would I have said? I would have said all of them are asur. Chutz ma'aba, except for my father. Beis Shammai sav. What's the machlokas Beis Shammai sav? Beis Shammai sav like Reb Meir. Amar tefos lashon rishon. Beis Shammai holds like Reb Meir that when they make a statement that has halachic ramifications, the machlokas Reb Meir and Reb Yossi will see is about making a tmura, being makdish an animal. Is that tmura ola, tmura shlamim, right? You have an ola, kavan and shlamim, and you take a third animal and say this is tmura. This is in exchange for an ola, zutmura ola, and then you continue saying zutmura shlamim. So Rameir says we only take into account your first language, therefore it's tmura ola. The animal that you exchanged is exclusively an ola, and you can makar as an ola. You can't be makar as an ola. I mean, you can't be makar with tmura, but it is treated as an ola. And according to Rabbi Yossi, he says no. Even you go after his entire statement. So therefore, we take into account what he said also. So therefore, the third animal is half ola, half shlamim. You have to sell it. You have to wait till it gets a mum, sell it, and split the money for an ola and a shlamim. So therefore, Bishamai holds like a Rameir, follows Lashon Rishon. So the beginning of his statement is Kulkam Asurim, even including his father. So therefore, they're all Asur, right? So you don't take into account his second part of his statement where he excludes his father. But he holds like Rabbi Yossi. He doesn't mean you go after the last statement. You also go after the last statement. So therefore, you take the whole statement into calculation, and therefore excludes his father. And once his father's mother, so the rest of the mother also. Now, according to Rabbah says that when you say Kulkam Asrum Chutz Ma'aba, everyone agrees. Even Beis Hillel agrees. We don't see Neder Hushotam Mitzvah Kula. What is Rabbah hold? Is Rabbah siding with Reb Meir? Right? It seems like he's siding with Reb Meir. That Tfos Lashon Rishon. He only argues when you enumerate all the different people, which is not a question of Tfos Lashon Rishon or B'Gvar Dvar Adam Nitva. It's not related to Machlokes Reb Meir and Rabbi Yossi, because one statement doesn't contradict the other one. So it seems like Rabbah sides like Rameir. We paskin like Rabbah. Does that mean we paskin like Rameir? If you want to find out the answer to that question, stay tuned for Ian Ben Steele. We'll talk more about that. So the Gemara persists, trying to figure out who the halacha should be like. Is here Rav Papa LaRava? Rav Papa asks the following challenge to Rava. Kate said, Amar Rabbi Kiva, and Rabbi Kiva was the one on Daf Samachva who explains the Shita of Beis Hillel. Right? How does it work out practically? He says, I'm not going to a bunch of people, you can't get hana from me. If then he regrets, or he says, I didn't understand that one of them, I didn't really want to ask her. They're all mutter. If he says his language is different, right, I'm not going to get hana from this one and this one and this one, right? So it's really unclear what the seifa, the second statement, is talking about in this brisa. So the Gemara originally understands it, right? The first case is talking about a case where he's coming and he's saying kulchem chutz me'ava, chutz me this person. The second statement he's saying zezeh, this person, these two people mutter, and the third person aser. So therefore, in the last case, the brisa paskin hutar achron mutter v'kulon aser. And if the last person he mentioned he didn't want to include in the neder, so he's mutter, the rest are aser. Otherwise, if the Rishon was mutter, then they're all mutter. So whereas Bishlam al Rabbah can make sense of this brisa. Mukam al Reisha da'amar lazel lazeh. He says, he enumerates this person, right? Where he admits that according to Beis Hillel, right, hutru miksas and hutru kulan. The seifa, amar lekulchem. Seifa is not really clear what it's talking about, so we'll say it means that he says kulchem chutz me, this person. According to Rabbah, when he said kulchem chutz, everyone agrees. Even Beis Hillel agrees. Even Rabbi Kiva and Beis Hillel, or Kiva and Beis Hillel, the same shita, they would both agree. We don't say hutru miksas, hutru kulo. El didcha. According to you, Rava, right? You want to say, right, in a case of kulchem, right? That's where Rabbi Kiva. This brisa is Rabbi Kiva. Kiva is the shita of Beis Hillel, and the Rabbanan hold like Beis Shammai and argue, right? That's why it's machlokes Rabbi Kiva and the Rabbanan. Ela seifa, the seifa, Amar lezel lezer Rabbi Kiva he, right? My pligi Rabbanan. If it's talking about he's enumerating each one, you said everyone agrees. Rabbanan and Rabbi Kiva Beis Shammai would even agree. My pligi Rabbanan. Why is it stated in the name of Rabbi Kiva? This brisa, it should be according to everybody. The Amar divrei kol mutter. You said everyone agrees, and in such a case is mutter. Amar le Rava. Rava says back, Ula Rabba, Rabbi Kiva minicha. Even according to Rabba, this brisa doesn't make sense. Seifa my mukim law. What's the last case in the brisa? The Amar lekulchem. Haydain hu rishon, haydain hu achron. If you look in the lashon of the brisa, it doesn't say that he's right. It doesn't say lekulchem. It says, if you look at the lashon, it says there's a rishon and there's an achron. If you matter the rishon's nether, then all mutter. If you matter the achron, only the achron is mutter, and the first one is not mutter, right? So what does it matter who the first one or the last one is, right? If you're matter one of them, if you hold hutter miksat or hutter kulos, no matter if you're matter one of them, they're all mutter. And if you don't have a hutter miksat or hutter kulos, so then none of them should be mutter. So it doesn't make sense. Ella must be, how do you explain the brisa? Reisha damar lekulchem. like I said, it's talking about kulchem. That's why it's machlokas or kiva and the rabbanim. The seifa is not talking about what were previously konsha talan zeb zeb. It was talking about when he made the original nether. He didn't originally say, I'm answering all these people from getting hana from me. He says, first person, John, is also to get hana from me. Then he says, Steve is also like John. Amar Ploni Kaploni, Ploni Kaploni. Then he says, Mike is also like Steve. Daikanami, he was told the first on the second on the third. He didn't answer them all together. Daikanami, Litania, Huterheim, so Hemanu Lamata Mutarin. A Bryce which comments on the previous Bryce, he says if the mutter, the middle person, we have John, Steve, and Mike, Steve gets mutter, so his neder, the Mike is usher because of Steve. So if Steve is mutter, so then Mike is mutter also, but the first one's not, right? And that's why it says if the Rishon is mutter, then they're all mutter, but the Achron is mutter, only the Achron is mutter, and therefore it's not relevant to the Machlokas Rabba and Rava or our Mishnah. Rava persists. He wants to challenge Rava from the following brisa, the Mishnah later on. Konam batel shani toim. He asked her eating onions. I'm not going to eat onions anymore. Shabatel rala lev. Apparently, the doctors told him eating onions is bad for your heart. He has a heart condition. Amulo. They told him afterwards. Allah kufri yafal lev. There's actually a type of onion, scallions, green onions, which are good for the heart. Hutter. Bakufri, below Bakufri, Balvado, or El Bakal Absalom. The halacha is, once he finds out about it, they really didn't mean to include green onions or scallions, so therefore they're all mutter. There's a different explanation of what kufri means. To me, I know three types of onions. I know the regular brown onion, the purple onion, and the green onion, the scallions. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the green onions are actually good for your heart, but I can imagine they're more healthy. They're used in more healthy dishes. According to the article, I mean, this kufri is like a village, onions from the village. I don't know. I'd like to make it more clear and definitive. There's three types of onions. One is good. He didn't know about the scallions. That's my explanation. There was an incident that happened. Rabbi Meir actually acted upon the halacha in this Mishnah. He matered the person in all onions. My love, the Amar Ilo Isi Yodea Shakofi Yafel Lev Isi Omar Kob Salam Asurim and Kufri Mutter. I would have said, right, what is he trying to be mater nether? What is he saying to the Basin? He's saying I would have said Kob Salam Asurim and Kufri Mutter. Right? And you see what? And you see that in this case, Hutter Miksasa, Hutter Kulo. Right? It's actually Machlokas, right? This is Rabbi Akiva's opinion. It's Machlokas Beisham Beisilel, right? So you see that Beisham Beisilel have a Machlokas, even in a case where they say Zev is Zev. He says he specifies all the rest of the Psalm and the Kufri. So the Gemara says no. Loma Omer Ilo Yisi Yudea Shakufri Yafal Yisi Omer Batal Ploni Asur and Kufri Mutter. Meir Aliba the Akiva Aliba the Rabbanan. I'm sorry. Let's go back for a second. This Mishnah was quoted in the name of Rabbi Meir Paskin in this case. So Rabbi Meir, the Gemara's original question is that the Gemara thought it was Kol Absul and Matzurim. It's like you say all Absul and Chutz, right? So according to Rava, he says in that case everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. So everyone agrees. Why is the Shita in the name of a Yachid, Rabbi Meir? Seems like they want to argue. So the Gemara says, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, he specifies purple onions. I would have said purple onions and brown onions are not. Green onions are okay. The Kofri Mutter, Remeir, Aliba the Rekiva, Aliba the Rabbanan, Remeir, we thought Remeir was a Yechidah, was a singular opinion. The Rabbanan would argue on him. No, Remeir is talking both according to the Rekiva and both according to the Rabbanan, and everyone would agree with Remeir. Remeir wasn't stating his halacha on his own. Happened to be the person asked Rabbi Meir the Shaila, but according to Rabbi Meir, he would agree both with Rakiva and Rabbanan. According to Rava, right, when you specify Zeh, everyone agrees, both Rabbi Kiva and the Rabbanan also agree that it's mutter. Stay tuned for Ian Ben Sion. We're going to talk about what I asked before about how could it be that Rabbi, who he paskin like in this case, he says, right, that basically like Rabbi Meir, Tfos Lashon Rishon, if you say Kol Kulchem Chutz, right? Even Beis Hillel agrees that we don't say Hutter Mitzat Hutter Kulo, is it even possible to say such a thing? It's not clear who the halacha is like. It doesn't have a letter to tell me the halacha is like Rameh or Rabbi Yossi, but I'm pretty much remember that with the Malachas Rameh and Rabbi Yossi, normally passing Rabbi Yossi, Apik Var Dvar of Adam Mitva. So is there another way of reconciling Shitas Rabba with the halacha of Rabbi Yossi? Stay tuned, Eva and Sion coming up next.